Republican lawmakers handing the White House a subpoena for documents relating to the Solyndra matter. The Obama administration, though, pushing back. Late on Friday, the White House counsel said this: such curiosity is not a sufficient justification for encroaching on long-standing and important executive branch confidentiality interests, particularly when none of the more than 85,000 pages of documents produced to date evidence any favoritism to political supporters or wrongdoing by the White House. That last point is very important. Louisiana Congressman Steve Scalise is on the committee that voted to issue the subpoenas and back with us here, sir. Good morning to you in your home state. Your reaction to the White House? They say you overreached, overbroad and unnecessary.
Well, you know, Bill, the Obama administration has had a history of obstructing in this Solyndra scandal. From the very beginning, when we tried to get basic documents between the various agencies that approved this loan, they wouldn't give us the documents originally. We had to subpoena those from Department of Energy and OMB. Well, once we got those documents, it showed a whole lot of things that were highly questionable. The fact that some agencies were actually saying that they didn't think that they should have approved the loan. But, of course, we also found communications with the White House. And the White House jumped in and started fast-tracking this loan and said, basically, give it to them anyway because the vice president's going to be participating in a groundbreaking. So they were concerned about a photo op. In the meantime, the taxpayers have lost over $500 million in this scandal. And so we're trying to get the facts. We know that there are communications within the White House, and all we've said is, look, just have that transparency that President Obama promised. Give us the documents between the White House regarding Solyndra, only regarding Solyndra, and they still refuse to do that, so we had to go to the next step.
Yeah, I know a lot of committee members on the Republican side said the documents handed over were heavily redacted, and they dealt with minor points and not major points. And the major point is this. The question is whether or not they restructured this loan to pay back the investors before the taxpayer. That's what you're trying to figure out, right? Did political favoritism have a role here?
It's a key point because, first of all, the law says, from all of us that have read the law, it seems pretty clear the federal government doesn't even have the authority to subordinate the taxpayer, meaning putting them in the back of the line and allowing a private company to come and get the ability for this $75 million that's at stake. So we've actually got some emails from the U.S. Treasury Department where they were questioning whether or not it was illegal for the Department of Energy to subordinate the taxpayer. So, of course, we want to see what the White House's involvement was. In fact, in our committee hearing with the Department of Energy, I asked the head of the loan program a few months ago to give me all the information who at the White House knew about this subordination of the taxpayer. He wouldn't give that information to me. So we're subpoenaing the information because, frankly, the American people want to know what happened to almost $500 million of money that's lost.
Here's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out who makes the next move in this story. So the White House has its position. Do you issue another subpoena, or who makes the next move here?
Well, the subpoena's been issued, and one way or another, we're going to get the information. The question is, what does the White House have to hide? Why are they so aggressively fighting and obstructing this investigation, which has yielded a whole lot of questions that the American taxpayer has about the $500 billion?
What if the White House declares executive privilege? That would then prevent you from getting the information you say that you will get eventually.
Well, and historically, executive privilege is the route that the White House has to say, look, these specific things we don't want to give you, and of course those get solved in a legal process. They didn't do that. They chose not to even exert executive privilege. They just said, we're not giving you the information that you're asking for. Okay. So they don't get to choose what they're going to give us and what they're not because, frankly, there's an investigation going on, and we're going to get the facts.
I have 10 seconds to go, and you say you'll get the answers in the end? You're convinced
we're going to get to the facts, and frankly, we're going to try to go find out what happened to over $500 million of taxpayer money that this administration has blown.
All right, Steve Scalise, thank you for your time, the Republican out of Louisiana. Thanks, for coming on today. All right, Martha?
Well,